Hello everyone. I'm here with my hands. My name is Yewande.
I'm Caroline Bimbo Afolalu, and this is my niece, as she said, from the US.
Okay, so I'm so excited about this video recording because I'm sitting here with her. It's been over 20 years that I've seen her in flesh and blood.
Welcome to London.
I'm so excited about the conversation. So when I was coming to London, I said I really want to sit down and glean from her wisdom. She's an entrepreneur, an author, a woman of God. She's a woman of faith. She has her own YouTube channel where she shares prayer nuggets, daily prayer nuggets. And I felt like this is me sitting down at the feet of a mentor to learn from her and glean from her, and I thought I could share some of those lessons with you. So it's good to have you.
You're welcome.
Just tell us about yourself. Let me start with that. Like, just tell me, who are you? I've said some things that I know about you, but you might be able to tell us more.
Okay, like I've told you my name, I'm Bimbo. I'm a married woman and a mom of 3. I'm a Christian and a businesswoman as well. I have prayer nuggets that I do as a give back to the community, sharing gospel messages, wisdom from the Bible, and just simply praying with people. And I run a food manufacturing business based here in the UK. I'm an immigrant from Nigeria, the gay nation, and I've been around in the UK for the past 30 years. I came in 1992, and it's been challenging, but at the same time, very, very great.
I mean, there is a lot that we could pitch on, like when it comes to this conversation. We will start from the entrepreneur angle, the immigrant angle, being a woman of God angle. But I just want to start with that aspect of you starting a business as an immigrant. Okay. How was that for you? How did you even come about what business to start with?
Well, I've said it all. I'm a Christian, so most of the things I do is faith inspired. So I graduated Nigeria. I did English language in University of Ibadan. Graduated in 1990. Got married at 25. Came over here to join my husband in London, and at first I did, like all the odd jobs, like normal people, care assistant, helping the elderly, and then from then I became data entry clerk in Royal Mail, and I was studying law at the same time because my parents were retired teachers and school principals, and they believe in being a lawyer or a medical doctor. So I went to University of London, they call it then, to study law. And I was doing it at part-time since I was pregnant with my second son. So I graduated, and I said to myself then, what next? What do I do? Am I going to be a lawyer? But that didn't settle well with me. I wasn't really keen on being a lawyer. So fortunately, as a Christian, there was a program they did in our church. And that program, they were saying, say something specific to God. It was called Divine Encounter. That was the message, and you have to ask God something specific and be specific, in your prayer request. So I said to God, I've just graduated my law degree. Shall I proceed and be a solicitor, a barrister, or should I continue to do my side hustle that I was doing at that time of buying and selling? I would travel to the USA, buy, some lovely clothes from New York, come to London to sell them, or go to Italy, buy gold jewelry, go to Switzerland, buy laces. So I've been doing all sort of, petty trading, they call it then. And I was thinking, should I just establish that as a proper accessory company and begin to trade? So I had that written down, I didn't have any course at all to want to be a caterer or a food manufacturer. I didn't even know anybody that did this in my family, so I wasn't interested in the food business, so I didn't put it on the list. And my husband said to me, oh, you're very intelligent, networking, computing was great, so you go for that. So I added that to the list. So I had 3 things, but I didn't hear back in that prayer.
Had, the fashion accessory business, the computing business, and what's the third one again? Law. Okay, so 3 things on the prayer list.
So which of the careers should I pursue was a big question between me and God. And I didn't hear anything, so I prayed.
I was going to say you heard God's
not that day.
Caroline.
Nothing happened. So I went home. Hopefully the following day I was doing my morning, prayer devotion time, and I was reading my Bible, and I came across that scripture in the book of Acts chapter 3. Silver and gold I have none, where Peter and John, they were going into the temple, there was a man at the beautiful gate. Yes, you got it. And that was what came to me. So I knew that was something God was trying to, say to me, but I didn't understand what it meant. So I left it as that, and I went to drop my son off at school. There was a Caribbean lady that was a friend. He also came to drop her son, and she was saying, "Oh, Caroline, we see you all the time now. Normally you rushing off to go." I said, because I normally drop my son. I'm always hustling, running from dropping them, going to college, going to work, and all of that. So I don't really have time to engage and network with them. So he said, "Oh, but you're Kara." So I said, "Well, because I've just graduated now." And he said, "Oh, so what next?" I said, "Well, that's the big question that I've been asking God myself. What next? What do I do?" And she said, I prayed this morning and I shared with her that scripture, and she said, "Oh, the Lord has given you the scripture, would explain it to you." So I said, "Oh, thank you." So I thanked her and she left, but suddenly she jumped back and came back and said, "Oh, Caroline, stop." As I was going to start.
She's a Christian?
Yeah, she is. And she said, "Oh, I think I know." I said, "What do you know?" She said, "What God is trying to say to you is that out of your list, there's none of that." So I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Silver and gold, I have none." That man, the blind man, he was expecting silver and gold, money from Peter. But Peter said, "I don't have any of that, but I have something better for you. And it's your miracle. So you are now independent. You can depend on yourself. So get your healing." And the guy, they began to leave praising God and happily went into the temple. So I said, "Oh, that's good, but okay." And I began to drive, and as I drove down to do my hair, I was still having my hairdresser in North London where my university was, so I was driving down to have a haircut, and I had some snacks. Chin chin is called African Nigerian snack called chin chin. Is ready to eat, sweet and crunchy snack. So I had some that I made the previous weekend, so I just took a scoop and I put it in my mouth, and I suddenly heard like an audible voice say to me, "How nice would it be if would you not like to do this for a living?" Right. And I was saying to myself, "No." This is not the silver I'm asking for. This is not the kind of I wanted something greater. I wanted something bigger. Yeah. You buy stars. You have this big chain of stores selling accessories and all that. That's the kind of thing I was expecting. So when I got that, I was thinking to myself, I don't think I would like to be a cook, because I thought that was the meaning. A lawyer. Why would I want to be a cook? But that was how I was looking at it. And I got home. My husband was still working then at Travelex. So when he came back from work, I said to him, "This is what I believe God spoke to my heart."
So you shared it with your partner?
Yes, I did. And he said, "Oh," he was laughing too, because usually I'm the one laughing at him now.
It's the other way around. And that feels more painful, right?
He was laughing. It was so funny. So he said, "Okay, I'll pray as well." And he went into the little room. We have like a box room. It's a 3-bedroom semi, but it was like a box room, the third room. So he went there and prayed, and he just came and said, "I couldn't pray more because I was just singing, Psalm 150.
Like it felt like a peace in his mind.
Joy, and he was just singing it, praising the Lord, with silver, with all everything that has bread, praise the Lord." So he came out and said, "I think he has peace with it." I said, "Okay, we'll go out, and on Sunday I'll speak to the pastor as well, just hear what he has to say."
So you also reached out to your spiritual leader?
I did, and he said that he did see what I said as a cook. He saw something bigger, something greater, that I should go back to university and study all about food. Wow. So I was like, "You just gave up." I have to go back again. So I said, "Okay." So I listened. I obeyed.
Listen, because that would have been very challenging for me to go back to school after just coming out of school.
I know. So I even considered going back to Nigeria to do it, because I was thinking, if I'm going to learn African food, I might as well go to Nigeria. But a friend, a Ghanaian lady, said to me, "You have, 2 little children. Why would you go and leave them and waste time? Just go to English school, learn about the English craft, and then use your intelligence to modify things and make it into the African recipes. So I said, oh, that's a great idea. So divine helpers kept coming to help with good ideas that I wasn't thinking about.
When you figured out what God wanted you to do, then helpers came around.
Yes.
Came around.
Yes. So I went to South Bank University then. They had like a bakery college at the back of the university, and I studied, we had chocolate making, pastry, bakery, all sort of things that we
I'm sure Nigerian jollof rice is not on that list.
No, it's none of that at all. It was all English things, like all the French bread, just European meals and all that, cake making, cake decoration, beautiful things that we did. That's how I just love the idea of beautiful creativity when it comes to food. And that's one of the reasons I said, oh, the company I would do will be called Beautiful Food. And it's a reflection of that man at the beautiful gate as well. So, beautiful display, because we were very particular about the kind of, not just the food you're eating, but the presentation. So I learned that, and I love food. Every time we had a picture taken of the food we've created, I'd say, oh, what a beautiful, piece of food. It was so really nice. So I came up with that name, Beautiful Foods, and that's how that.
When you came out with that, because I know Beautiful Foods is the name of the brand of your food company. When you came out with the name, did it all come together? Was it just about the food that spoke to you, or the Bible verse that's coming from that act?
Yeah.
Or did it all just come together? And at what point did it all come together that, okay, this is the name I'm going to go with, this is the brand that this is what we'll settle with?
It was probably when I was doing the 2 years diploma course, I was looking at all the creativity we were doing. So I saw that beauty, and I knew that I love, every time I'm, taking pictures, oh, beautiful food. And then it just resonated with the scripture as well, the man had beautiful food. So we ended up not just using that scripture as a name for just Beautiful Foods Limited. My husband also stepped out to use that name again for his company, because when we started the Beautiful Food, I said to my partner, the accountant, that I want to give my employees, the first time we were able to, because I was doing everything myself, cleaning, the cooking. It was like one man business, and he was still working before he came to join in the business. And I said I wanted the first employee to have proper pay slip, to have it done properly, legally, register with the HMRC,
do it the right way.
The right way. So we got that software, and that software was able to do about more companies than we had. So the accountant said, oh, I have a lot of companies that I don't want to do payroll for. Why don't you take it up and start to do it with your software? So that's how we started Gate Payroll. So my husband said, okay, beautiful, the man at the beautiful gate, you have taken Beautiful Food, I will take Gate Payroll. So we have two businesses for this little scripture.
The way you were saying it looks like when God gave you that word, it was like a big picture.
Yes.
There were not so much details, but when you stepped out and you took action and you obeyed that God instruction and you were willing to pursue it, because going to school it's hard, but just like Noah did, God gave him an instruction and you were willing to step out and start taking action towards that instruction. The rest of the details, how to go about the branding, what to go with the name, the product, and even the gateway payroll business that Uncle runs comes in. The way God does his things, being able to accept that big picture, it's very, very key. But there are some painful parts of accepting that big picture, which I know you will be willing to share with us. Like when you started, how was it for you?
Do you mean the going to college or starting the
when you now started the business?
When I started the business,
was it easy? Like you started making sales, day one, all the London stores start buying your product. How was it at the beginning?
Well, at the beginning, some friends were saying to me, why don't you start from home, start small? I said, no, that's not the picture God gave to me. So we started with a factory. So how did we source the money? We had a mortgage at that time with Bank of Scotland, and that mortgage came with a checkbook. No question asked, up to 50 grand. You can sign the check. So we drew out £40,000 from that property and we used it to set up. So we had proper machineries, packaging machine, so everything was ready from day one. But there was no money to employ. So I was the one doing it, and eventually my husband, joined, and we were two. And later on, towards the end of the year, we were able to employ 2 people, and that's how we started. So it was hard because I was having to do the cleaning, I was having to, do the cooking, and I was having to take the phone call at the same time.
Wow.
And my children were very little. Exactly, because when I received that message to start out this food business, I got pregnant with my daughter. She's now 23, and at that time I had to give her, to a childminder, an English woman, very beautiful, lovely woman. She helped me from like 3 weeks old. So at about 4 p.m., in fact not 4 because school normally closes around 3:30. So at 3 o'clock, I will pick the car, rush down to pick up my 2 sons from primary school, then rush down to collect my daughter from the childminder, go home, and then get ready, for dinner and all that. So it was hard running the business, managing the home, and just looking after little children at the same time. So I would say to them, at that time I wasn't even able to breastfeed much because I had to, give her up to the childminder, to the daily, lady that helped me out. So we're on the finances side as well. It was very difficult. There are days that we have to be counting coins to make sure that we are able to pay mortgage, pay rent, pay this and pay that. We had customers gradually coming in because try and error. Like I told you, I went to school in England. They taught us about maybe Cornish pastry. I was going to prepare Nigerian meat pie. So Cornish pastry and Nigerian meat pie,
type of man.
So the first one I did was foil and pie. I remember the man that ate it was a friend's husband, and I gave it to him. I was looking at him, it was breaking. He was like carefully holding the pastry together with his hand and eating it. It was so interesting. So I had a lot of disaster in the kitchen learning the recipes. So eventually, with time, time normally help you experience, you get all your skill. So I had the knowledge, and now that knowledge was now to be, moved from one kind of culture to another culture. It came with the beauty part of it, with the good presentation, with the hygiene knowledge, with all the, the perfection of the English people, and I had to now marry that with the culture that I'm coming from, with Nigerian food, how we wanted too oily, not too oily, trying to balance, not too sugary, having like a marriage of
perfect and something that you can replicate every time when you want to do it, and even pass it to somebody who is interested in Tabitha food recipe.
Yes.
You've touched on a couple of things there, and let me start with the faith to step out, because drawing like 50 grand and putting it towards a business is huge for some people. Like for some people, they already saved up all the money and they are just looking for the idea. So once the idea comes, they are able to pursue it. But for some of us, we're still struggling. Like, how did that faith come? That for you to draw, to be able to like take that giant step to put in money. This is something that you have an idea. I mean, when God speaks to me, I feel like, okay, this is an idea that I'm thinking. That's the way I want to think about it. How did you get that courage to step out?
The courage comes with God. Once you know of assuredly that you have heard from God, and how do you know? Your spirit, it confirms in your spirit that this is not you. Why would I want to go and be a cook? It's not what I would have done. It's not what I would have, in my own mind, in my own intellect, create. So I knew that was a divine knowledge, that a divine wisdom, and therefore the one who has given me that wisdom, it will be there to help me out. So I was trusting in God's help. And that's what I got, because when we even got the place that we use, we had to start from scratch. It was just like an ordinary industrial warehouse that we had to put in. I had to call the gas. There was no gas.
Set up in the place and
there was no gas. There was no 3-phase, because there are certain things that you have to have in United Kingdom for you to have a certified place where you can produce food on a large scale. So there was a lot of things, and everything was working out. If some people will say, to have gas connection into your property will take 2 weeks, ours will take 5 days. So everything was being speeded up, and I was looking for a place. I didn't know where. So which location? They always say location. And I just picked up a newspaper, opened it up, and I saw this company, GLA. And they were able to, the property we went to was not even in the market. I spoke to them, they said, oh, I have something that I think will be ideal for you. It took us there.
Wow.
Within weeks, we moved in and we, began to put things in place, the same connection, everything. So when God calls, is there to help you. So I have that in my head, that even if there will be a lot of challenges along the way, which they were financially, there was not sufficient fund, and that's the first time in my life I understood what it meant to have insufficient fund. What does that even mean? I've never heard it, but at that first 2 years, I knew what that meant for you to not have enough. I knew it, but eventually, gradually, things began to settle down, and people, began to favor what we did. I had a lot of pains. I had a lot of people, who were envious of what we were doing because they thought they should have thought of it first and should have been the one doing it. But I didn't pay attention to those people because my business is not with them. It's with what God has given to me, my purpose. So I focused on that. And I began to just pour all my energy, and God gave me so much stamina, so much strength, and that's one of the gifts that God has for me, that you have this energy, use it. So in the early mornings, I'm out there, doing it 24/7 on my feet, working so hard, managing the business, the computer side, the physical side, the cooking side, everything. So, God helps, and because you see that all the things are working out for your good, you know that there's a power behind you. So it's that power that gives us the courage to do what we do.
The Bible, there are so many scriptures that came to my mind. The Bible says the steps of a righteous man, shining lights, it shines brighter and brighter. And sometimes in the beginning we might start and struggle, like you said, you were the one running the whole show, the cleaner, the cook, the receptionist. But now things are different right now, because you were able to set up the structure to be able to get to this point. Look, like I know your law degree may have helped some way to get here. So tell us, how was it with getting like those requirements set up for your business in the UK?
With food business in the UK, like I went to that University of South London, and we had a lot of all the training that we needed on the food safety section of things. But because I have the legal background, I was able to understand the importance of what they were telling us. So if there is a property that you see that you want to use for food, there are certain things that you must know. Even the equipment, they have to have maybe stainless steel finish, so you can't have germs or bacteria harboring. So you learn so much that are so technical, and you need to create a manual to let the inspectors know that you know what you're doing. So that manual is like an ASAP manual, we call it. So you are looking at all the risk from how your suppliers, the food come to you, the ingredient coming to you. Who are your suppliers? Have you vetted them? Are they clean? Are they hygienic? How is their food? Because what you bring in, garbage out. You capture that, the incoming, and then the processing. From A to B, you need a flow. This is where it comes in.
You have to walk through the whole process.
Out to the door, to the customers. And every checkpoint has risk and hazard that you must mitigate. And you have to come up with policies that you show to people, the inspectors when they come, that this is what you think can go wrong, and this is how you have made that risk less. And then you have that as your due diligence. So on a daily basis, you have your cleaning schedules, you have your incoming product, you check those products as well, the shelf life, the testing, you take them to the laboratory to have them tested. How long can they last? Can they harbor bacteria? What is the nutrition analysis? What are the the labeling laws will let you know that can this food harm somebody? If you are allergic to egg, for instance, you've eaten Tabitha's chin chin, can it kill you? Yes. So you have to make sure you understand what all the allergy compliances are all about. So being compliant in the food industry requires a lot of information. Our folders, in the office there are big folders. You have the health and safety, you have the food safety, you have the staff training, and constantly you have to keep updating every year. So the law degree helped a lot because I understood that, legally you could be sued if you harm anybody to the extent of killing them because of the food they've consumed. You could end up in jail. So I had that in my head because I understood, from the law degree that, there's punishment for things that go wrong. You might think you are ignorant. Ignorance is not an excuse. You've done something wrong, you get punished for it. So our food is always, considered as something that is very, very important, and is, something that we must protect, so that when people consume it, they are safe.
They're safe.
Yeah.
That's very, very important.
Yeah.
Just on how you got started. You got started on faith, and then the courage came about when you started getting support, and then you stepped out big, because you didn't start from your kitchen. You went ahead to start the business using the fund that you have.
Yeah.
You've created the products, like you told us about how you understand the regulations, worked with what the legal boundaries are to create the process. Now, after creating the product, how did you get it to the customers? I mean, you're not just selling it like one piece to people. Now, how did you move from selling it in one piece? Maybe you've done that at some point, to selling it now in boxes. How did you get here?
Okay, like I said earlier on, without the marketing, there's no business.
Without marketing, there is no business.
Yeah, there was someone that said that you might be selling gold. If nobody hears about you, nobody will buy from you.
And then, gold doesn't have value until people value it.
Exactly. And if you're selling maybe mud or gravel, and you are able to tell people about it, then you'll be making profits and money. So marketing is the key to business, because that's how you communicate with people that you are here and this is what you do. And like I said, we worked from an industrial unit. We were in a commercial estate, which means we don't have passerbys. So we don't have a front shop
like one
that can come in to buy. So we had to take our products to retailers out there. So what we did was to go out. I would, take my car, drive down, go on the street and find some African stores or grocery stores that would be willing to take our snacks, our biscuits, and I'll introduce the product to them, let them see the beauty of it. Once they taste it, they love it, let them know that once you are buying from us, there's a benefit for you, because we give you 30%. So it's like we share the profits with our retailers, and we took it further out to wholesalers as well. So we created like a price margin that would permit like an agent
at the larger
scale. So if you are to buy bigger bulk, then you get 10%. They understand that is 40%, 10% to them, 30% to the retailers, because they are paying a lot of outgoings on the retail stores, on everything, to put your products out there. So we make sure that we have a website where people can see the information.
Who can find you online.
Yes. So we also started putting things in directories. You have things like in Britain here, we have yellow pages, you have online directories, and so we did leafleting. So all sort of marketing strategies. You have the product, you have the.
And this was at the beginning, everything was on brand, like websites, these leaflets, going out there to talking to people. I mean, those are multiple channels of marketing already.
Yes, because with the business, you have to get those 4 things ready before you can have business. You have the P, the product, the price, the promotion, and the place. So the place is how people can get it. So you told the price, this is how much you want it sold, and is a price that is acceptable to both you and your customers. Because if I'm saying I want to sell something, at a price that my customers are not willing to buy, then I don't have a business. So, and if my customers are saying they want to, pay something that will allow me to have profit, then I have a business. So that's my P for price. And then you have the promotion to tell people about it, invite them, let them see what you're doing. Communicating is telling. It's like you're an evangelist telling others that, see, I have this product and I think it will be good to you. So you tell them the benefits, not just that, come and buy. What are we buying? You need to express what are the benefits of your product. What will it do for me? How people you like to have something that benefits you, and same
That's
with
true.
every human being. So you've packaged not just the product, but the benefits. Maybe if it's sweet, if it's food, is it crunchy, is it healthy, what does it do? And then you communicate that and you promote it to let people know about it. And then you have the place as well, which is the distribution like us. We don't have a physical location where customers can walk in to have connections or retail or buy. So we have the website, like an online store. You could go on the online and buy. So that's like a place, that's the distribution channel that we do. So you have all those pieces in place. The product must be nice, must be something that benefits people, something that people have value. So you have added some value, and then you are now letting others know.
And once people place and like an order on the website, they are sure that somebody is going to get back to them, somebody is going to deliver their good. There's integrity in place. Like when you pay, you're not just paying me and I'm saying, oh, I'm out of changing. No, there is a product that is waiting for your delivery, and we can ship it out to you as soon as you need it, which is like a business structure that will continue to enhance the minorities. Like for me, I live in the United States, so those are the things I see missing in some of our businesses. Like sometimes you order this product and nobody gets to you, and even when you want to ask questions around the product, nobody is answering the question. Like what role did your values play in the design of your business structure?
Okay, I know with if you profess to be a child of God, you have to do things with integrity. You have to walk upright. You have to make sure none of us can be perfect. Don't get me right, because we are practicing Christians. In business, there will be, little here and there that you have played that all of us probably, would have probably done. But like having tools in place that that these tools will help you do the best for your customers. For instance, there are laws that guide weight. So if you are putting out there something that is quantified in kilogram, for instance, you say, I'm giving you 1 kilogram of Tabitha's biscuits, for instance, and then somebody weighs that and they find that it's 800. The law can punish you because randomly you have inspectors that pick up products. So with us, we have the policy in place where we check weight. So there's a check weight that we do randomly. Because like I said, you cannot be perfect. You can try your best.
As part of quality control.
Quality control. So you can try your best, but the machine could have been, maybe not calibrated correctly and something goes wrong. So from time to time, you have a record where you can pull up, maybe you produce 1,000 products, draw out 3, and just check weight and make sure that you're within the acceptable range. So we have check and balances, and these are the tools that we use to help us to maintain the integrity and the quality of the business. For instance, when we have the online shop, you can have your credit card protected. We don't say because you pay through PayPal. So whatever it is routed through us. We don't have anything to do with your payment details. And if you have ordered, you get instant email because we have used a website that has all the tools that can do that behind the scene without us having to get involved. So it's automated. So when you have automation in place, it helps you to do right. So those tools are what we do. And you have the DHL. We use reputable suppliers, we collaborate with people who we know are very, very good in what they do. So when we do delivery, we use people like DHL. Next day, whatever you order goes straight to your door. I remember a guy saying to us that this is the first time he has seen anyone do it. Like he ordered the chin chin, and the following day it was right at his door.
Wow!
So those are the things. It costs the money.
I'm going to drop the website maybe in the chat, and you're also like. Sorry for interrupting you. Yes, you said something about like the guy that's ordered and confirmed that, and there was also another story about somebody who put your products like on the store shelf that gave you like a major break. You shared that on a personal level with me, and I felt like that's a powerful story that I would want you to share. Like, I know the favor of God brings us in front of people, but if we don't have a quality product,
then people will not. They want to help, but they can't.
But they can't.
Yes, you've not empowered them to help you. I can't remember the one that you said.
Like the the person that took the products to like the shelf that gave you the major break?
Okay,
Like
this was an agent that we had, like an wholesaler that loved what we were doing and presented it alongside his product to the supermarket. The first one he did was Tesco's, one of the largest supermarkets in England. Then later on he took it into Sainsbury's. So we had that agent that behind it didn't even consult us. We just called us and told us that's what he was doing. And people still do that. Your uncle was telling me, when we were speaking yesterday, that he went to a store and then he wanted to buy chin-chin and they didn't have a chin-chin and he was fighting them. And he said, where is Tabitha? Where is Tabitha's chin-chin here? And he said and he spent a lot of money there. So the man was obliged to want to stop. So the man was so feeling so bad that they quickly went online researching Beautiful Foods Tabitha's brand. So we have people who are advocates for us, even without us knowing. He didn't tell me. If I hadn't, phoned him, I wouldn't have heard that story. So you have people who favor you for what you do, and that's why I always say to people, be encouraged. Whatever you're doing, helpers are there silently working on your behalf. You might not know.
Helpers that are silently working on your behalf.
Yes.
You just obey. That's your part.
Yes.
Obey God.
Yes.
Do what He has asked you to
Yes.
do. Do what He has put in your mind,
Yes.
and they are.
Yeah, and most of those ones, they are very quiet ones. You might not even know they've helped you. Like I said,
They might not even be family.
They might not even be family. They might be strangers. So I've had a stranger who went to Sainsbury's supermarket. One chin-chin ran out and they didn't place the order on time, and he went there to find them and he phoned me to say go and supply them because they've run out. I didn't know, it's not someone we know. So strangers will be there. The ones you will see most of the time are the ones that are front attacking you. So if you are not careful as a child of God, you get distracted. The good ones, you are, that's why we have to be having like a thankful, a grateful attitude. Whenever you have people coming to attack you, the envious ones, the ones that are pulling you down, it's not because they don't like you, it's because they are afraid of what God is doing and what you are becoming. And it's showing them their own failures as well, especially if there are people who have thought of those ideas
but
before, they never follow through. So they are the ones that make a lot of noise. So you have to sieve out their noise and say, be still and let God be God in the situation, whatever ministry, whatever assignment, whatever purpose God placed you. Expect those people. Even Paul said that. He said the door of opportunity has opened, but there are many adversaries. So when they come, just say, oh.
That's why you come.
So you be silent because I have work to do. So roll up your sleeves and begin to do the assignment that God has given you. And once you're doing it, the silent operators, the divine helpers, destiny helpers, they will be moving. They will be moving and they will be helping.
You like what you said reminded me of this guy in the Bible that went back to his town to rebuild the wall.
Nehemiah,
when he went back and they were Sanballat and Tobiah. They were going to stop this guy from doing what God had told him to do. Yes. But he didn't pay attention to them. He just focused. And like what you said now, when you focus your energy on the distractor, you are just losing the help of the people that have been sent to you, because those people want to see you win. Those people who have been called to you, they want to see you win and be all that God has called you to be. So when you're focused, and those people that are distracting you at that point, they are few. Like Sanballat and Tobiah, they are just two guys. But there are several other people, soldiers, other people that were standing to build that wall.
And do you know what he instructed them to do? To carry their sword in one hand and to get busy with the work with the other hand.
Now you're getting to the Bible. Tell us what that means.
It still means trusting God, because we can carry swords. So our swords is not, it says, the battles we fight is not, so it's spiritual. So you have your faith, your stand of faith ready, and then you are doing the work that you're supposed to be doing. And do you know, with that alone, your faith penetrates and it converts. A lot of the people that came against what I was doing, when they now began to see the great high that God began to place the products, the supermarket that has never stocked Nigerian products started stocking us. And they saw them, they were afraid, and they began to phone me privately. phone me, they want to do this one, how can I do it? And I became the advisor. And hence the videos are starting to put out there how I started my business, because a lot of people were now asking me to help them too. So I become, I became the light to let them see that it's possible. Because a lot of the time, like I say to you, when people do these things, they are to be pitied. They are afraid of the enemy. They are afraid of people. They are intimidated about their own destiny. So things that they are supposed to be doing, they don't do it because they don't have the faith to step out. But when they see you have overcome, they see your victory, it encourages them. So the ones that put you down the most are the ones that you eventually help the most.
That's very, very deep. Like what you just said now, in terms of how to deal, because these are things that discourage starters.
Yes.
Like dealing with
people,
antagonists, dealing with distraction, keeping focus on your dream, especially when the result is not yet forthcoming. The result can be very encouraging, but when the results are not forthcoming and you are getting all these distraction coming from here and there, and like you said, those people, the most distracted, they are the people that you can help the most if you stay focused.
Yes.
You've mentioned something about what you do on your YouTube channel, where you share lessons on business. You also have books, and we're going to have a different conversation on how to write books. But you have books around business. I just want you to speak to like a woman or a man who is thinking, what's my business idea? Where do I start? Where do I get the help? Can you just speak to that person now?
Okay, so are you asking from the
in terms of practical aspects?
Yeah, because with me, I'm a practical Christian. I believe in prayer, and I believe, like James, prayer with faith without works is nothing. So what I would say is that bring in your faith, use it to find out your purpose. Once you discover what you ought to be doing, then pursue it. It's as simple as begin to do physical, practical things, take steps, create goals that will get you to accomplish what God has asked you to do. In mine, I believe in training. I believe you have to have education. You have to get a skill that will help you to do what you're supposed to do in an excellent manner. Because whatever you do that God has called you to do, excellence is one of the things that people can see that will make them know that yes, this person is doing something that is different from what human beings normally do. So there's a spirit of excellence that God will use to empower you. So the first thing is to step out. Get rid of your fear. Don't be afraid. Do whatever God has called you to do, and He will be there. He says His hands, He has these everlasting arms. He's not too short to help you. He will come and He will help you. Whatever challenges comes your way, He will be ready to help you overcome. Not that I'm saying challenges will not come. Jesus Christ said that in this world you will suffer tribulations, there will be challenges, but be of good cheer. I have overcome. So even though you're starting a business, you're starting a ministry, maybe God has called you to start a church, God has called you to start a business, go ahead and do it. Don't think about the money, because a lot of people stop just because they don't know how the money will come from. I've never wanted to think of money first. I always say money is under my feet, because whatever I need to get done, money will come. How it will come, I wouldn't know, but when I need it, it normally comes. The first property we bought, we were self-employed, my husband and I was a data entry clerk at Royal Mail, making little. My husband was doing, taxi work, and we needed to move from the property where we are. And we didn't know how to do it because our salary was not enough. I was doing the hustle, and I had a lot of capital in place. So we found the property. The estate agent that helped us introduced us to a broker, and that broker said there's something called non-status. I've never heard of it before. So non-status just means you sign that you are able to pay this loan back, and they give you the mortgage. And within 5 weeks, everything was sorted. We moved into our property. So I didn't know how we would have been able to get a mortgage, but I stepped out to visit that estate agent, and through the help of that estate agent, because he also had knowledge, she had connection, and we were able to move in. So don't worry about if you have money or not. Step out, go and be doing the necessary things that you think you ought to be doing. If you need to go back to train, go back to the training. Maybe when you're training, somebody will be there that have the capital and can be a business partner with you. Whatever you need, God is able to provide. Look at the life of Abraham. He was told to go and sacrifice his only son, and he said, I don't know what I'm going to do, but he got ready, set out, went, and when he got there, God said to him, don't do that, and he provided a ram, and he's called the place Jehovah Jireh. God provides. So God provides, because that's the worry of a lot of people. Where will I get the money? No, don't worry about money. Money would worry about you.
Worry about your vision.
Worry about
getting that vision like nailed down,
action,
and follow it with action. And once you follow it with action, by the time you start taking that action, like you see, even for our confidence start coming, because you start seeing getting help, and by the time you start seeing the result, you start building your confidence. And like you mentioned a couple of things around having a recipe here, like having that consistent taste, excellence in the business, quality, giving that product that you know you can, you yourself, you're sure about what you're putting out there, that is not going to hurt anybody.
Trust.
And that once you build trust in yourself, that's also confidence. I mean, you are able to go there and say, this is what I think my product will deliver on, and this is
it will
deliver every time. I mean, getting to that place took you a lot of work. You've been doing some things around some giving back now, because I know the business has gotten to a point where I won't say you've reached your steady state, because I know every business you have opportunity to grow. In terms of branding, how are you branding your business? You know, this is a social media age. People are talking about branding. What are you doing to continue to promote the business? You've talked on giving back. Maybe that's something you want to speak to.
I've recently been using a lot of the social media tools like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube channel. We have
TikTok.
We have Beautiful Foods channel TV that we share recipes, and we use things like books as well. Recently I've released a book on the recipe book, African recipe, and one specifically on chin chin, all the flavors of our chin chin, vanilla, the cinnamon, the chocolate, the salt and onion, and the recipes are for you to be able to create from your own home. And if you need to buy quantity that you can't produce from your kitchen, then you know where we are. So it's just introducing to people, the feel of it, so that they can mess up with it in their kitchen and get them, interested more in the culture of Nigeria.
So to pass it down to the next generation.
Yes. I've had a lot of ladies, brides that got married and they went and bought the Beautiful Foods recipe book, and that's how they've been able to cook for their husband. They say, "Oh, Auntie, thank you. It's because of your book that I'm still having my marriage." So it does really make me happy. So we use the information the experience that we've gained to help other people, and that also help them to tell others about us. So we are using social media. We are using, just being good, just sharing information freely with people, and letting people just know that we are there also to help them. And because they can trust us, they can share, refer us and recommend our products, and just dealing with our company makes them feel confident that they can recommend. So we're using a lot of, traditional methods, and also...
And you post frequently to update them on the status of the business.
Yes.
Wow. I mean, before we finish with this recording, I just want to speak to women in business, women in career in general. We have our struggles, we have our own challenges we're dealing with. And sometimes, we do well with wealth, like women, we handle it well, but sometimes it might be wearing a lot of caps can be very, very stressful sometimes. How were you able to balance that? Like, carry your husband along, keep your marriage, being able to be the CEO that you are today, and still able to keep your marriage. Your kids are all out of college now. How were you? Because you started when they were still little, and you were able to carry through, sponsor them through college, sponsoring other kids, and being a philanthropist. How were you able to wear all these hats and without getting stressed?
Okay. Like I shared before, I want to listen to people. If you're, like we're setting up here today, I've learned a lot from you, you're younger. So I want to seek counsel. So when I started out in business, there was Christopher Colade was the ambassador to UK and all that. So he had this ministry called Managing Business for Christ. And I joined, and there was some brothers, Mr. Opasanya and Brother Richard, all of them as a group. So we're Christians trying to do the work of God, and they taught me from day one about balance. So you have balance. They said to me, Mr. Bimbo, make sure you have a place for everything and don't make anything chaotic. So you have a place for God, you have a place for your marriage and your family, you have a place for yourself. Usually my mom, God bless her, she will always say to me, Bimbo, Abike, my traditional name, look after your husband, look after your children. Never had anyone taught me, look after yourself. But I learned that there is a balance. So you put God first, yourself second. When you're on the plane, they say to you,
take it off. So safety first,
your family and your friends. So when it comes to things of God, Sunday, I love to go to church. Regardless of what work I have, I will still want to show up in church. So I put church on Sunday, and then I look after myself. I know that 9 to 5, people always laugh at me. It's your business. Why are you still going to be here until 10 p.m.? At first, initially, I did that. But at some point, when it's 9 a.m., I'm resuming work. When it's 5 p.m., I'm shutting down my laptop and going home. So I'll have a relaxing evening, and I have a time for God. And the charity work I do, I've pinned it down to just 1 day a week. So 1 day a week, go through my Bible scriptures, study, and then write and do the videos, and then I release that on a daily basis. 7 a.m. in the morning, I release that. So it's being able to manage time. The Bible tells us about the prayer that says, teach us to number our days. So when you apply wisdom to 24 hours of your day, you are not burnt out. I know sometimes things might pull you, you might have other things happen in life because life happens. Someone is falling ill, you are running etiquette from hospital. But in the end, still come back to that base that you must have balance. Don't do too much somewhere so that you are cheating out and you are killing yourself somewhere. So if you have to reduce your workload, reduce it. So if you're a career woman, for instance, you are starting out a family, you've just had a child, and you need more time at home. Have more time at home. If you need to, sell a big home to have a simple, smaller home, do that. So find out, how can I have a balanced, tranquil life, and begin to put things in place to achieve it. So creating balance and making sure you are putting yourself in the equation as well. So put God first, put yourself first, your family, and then your friends, and learn how to say no. Because there are so many things that you might want to do with your 24 hours. People want a lot out of you. A lot of people, we are Africans, how it is. Somebody wants money, they want it now. Somebody wants that, they want it now.
Somebody wants you to come to Uwambe.
Exactly. They want you to buy hair gear, all these laces, and maybe the lace you can't afford it. You need your child to go and study medicine. You rather put that money to buy lessons. So you need to be able to use wisdom, and you need to, know what your priorities are, and put your money where your values are. So once you learn all of these things, there's no law against you. As long as you're walking in kindness, you're showing love, because and don't let people judge you or pull you down. Do your best, do what is required, love them, but love yourself too.
Thank you. I mean, the way you've answered that question, like God first, yourself, family, friends. The community will come later, but you have like certain priority, right? Is very, very key. In terms of the beautiful foods business, I know where you are now, like in your mid-age, you're thinking, okay, where do you envision the business? Where do you see it going? What are your vision? I mean, it's okay because some of us we still. I'm sitting down here and I want to like think about what's your plan after you retire. Where do you see the business going if you decide to step back? Because that's something that sole proprietorship business think about what happens to this business after
Yeah, well, I'm still 56, so I have at least 15 years to retirement because I know we have been getting letters. Do you want to sell? Do you want to sell? And we keep saying to them, oh, we are not ready to sell. So we are not ready to sell the business. We just want to grow the business. And if you go into my office now, put it on, the catchphrase there. This year is growth. So we're trying to make the business grow because we still have capacity that we are not yet filling. So once we, I desire to have this place running 24/7. We only do, 8 to 5 p.m. We can run it 24/7. So we want the product to be everywhere. I know people are reaching out to me from the US, from Canada. Do you want to bring it there?
I was going to ask you about that.
So we want it. Someone had already said to me, oh, you can have a location in Nigeria for this that you're doing. So we still want it to be worldwide at some point. Maybe not now because we're still not occupying the territory where we are in England. We're trying to get into Europe. So we want the product to go international. That's the dream. And we want it to be something that even if we retire, we still have people that we have discipled. My children maybe not because I have doctors coming up. I have neat people that can go into food. They don't want business stress.
I will get neat sisters that will be interested. Buy this from your mom, and I'm going to take it up.
That will be for God to now decide what the one will be. But in the next 5 to 10 years, is just expansion. So we are hanging the business on a growth foundation that even when you hand it over, the one who takes over will never have to worry about money. They will never have to worry about anything because the mortgage here, we're still paying mortgage here, will be fully paid. So we are looking into how to make sure that there is a generational legacy, is an asset that we give to them. Even if they don't want it, at least they can employ other people. Like the manager downstairs, you see, we came here 9 o'clock. The manager was already here. He comes here around 6 a.m. Get start, plan the day, so that the staff can all come in and everything is ready for them. And this is how it's been working with us now for more than probably 15 years. And most of the staff you saw downstairs one has been here since 2004. So they've been, with us for several years. So we will know that we can trust them even if we want to retire, because my husband is probably going to be retiring 7 years before I do, because he's like 6 years older, and Britain retirement is 65 years for him. Mine is going to be 67, so I still have like 13 years too. But within those years, by God's grace, we want to grow the business. We want to make sure that we enlarge our coast, make sure that Tabitha's Chin Chin is worldwide and is one of the trusted or the most trusted one that people can say, if you want to eat Nigerian Chin Chin, buy Tabitha's.
So a couple of questions, sorry, like so many questions came to my mind when you're talking about growth. There's the capacity to grow and talking about worldwide. Like somebody's watching from US now, I'm thinking, can I order Tabitha?
Can I have a franchise?
Can I get a franchise?
Yes,
are you thinking about franchising?
Yes.
If somebody is not even thinking about franchising and they're thinking about their stomach, can I buy it on Amazon?
It's on Amazon. It's available on Amazon, but not international sales because it takes the shipping cost. And all the checks is a lot. So we just, have the delivery basically in the UK. So you can have it to Ireland, you can have it to Wales, you can have it to Scotland and England, not Europe or the US or the rest of the world.
But the franchise can go to the US.
Yes.
Since you have the recipe to share already.
Yes.
And by the way, she has a YouTube channel where she shares all the recipes. She has a book on Amazon where you can buy. And if you are interested in a franchise, she has the capacity
she has the capacity for that. She's the brave one. She's the brave one. She's the rep. I'm pointing the rep for this.
I just got a new job here. But I'm happy to take it because sometimes you said something, and in closing, you said something about some grace to run in the family.
Yes.
When you said that during some of our conversation, I thought to myself, this morning when we're getting ready, we're almost going to be picking each other's makeup because we thought we almost look like our makeup kits looked very. You've said a lot of things during this conversation, and I've learned quite a few. Not even a few. I have many questions on my mind, and I was thinking to myself, like if you were to talk to your younger self around the vision, where you see the business going in the next 5 years, you've mentioned something about franchise and about capacity. Leave us with the word, like leave us with something that you want me to take out. Like there are so many things I could touch on, but I felt like maybe you could leave us with something, like in terms of finding your vision, pursuing it, and making sure you don't lose yourself in the process.
Okay. The most important thing is to know God. I can't say that's enough for anyone. I don't know how people can do life without God. So know God, then know yourself. And know yourself in God. Because we all have a will. The way God created human beings, He gave us free will. So we have a will. So you have a will. And there's a will of God as well. So God has a will. A will individually for you, a will for me as well, for each and individual one out there. God has a will for you. He loves you. He has a plan. And so He said, before I formed you I was formed in my mother's womb, I knew you, and He created you for a great purpose. So God has a purpose for you because He loves you, and is able to take you to His expected end, because He said He is God. He can work things out. It's like you have a movie. The director of that movie, he knows that the movie is creating, it starts from the end. So He understands. So God, who created all of us, understands all of us better than we do. And that's why He says that, eyes have not seen, neither has it entered into the imagination of men, even yourself, what God has in store for you. So my younger self would not have seen me in a big office with a bakery, a factory, walking downstairs. If they have told me you could do that in Britain. I remember a woman said to me that he's never seen anyone have a driver in the United Kingdom. You have a van and you have a driver. He was baffled by that. Would I have thought that as well? No. So God has big expectations, and He can make that happen. And the thing that happens to all of us, we go through this place like a place of a confusion where we don't know what to do. If you have a look at the book I wrote on how to start business, and I put at the back that the question that most people ask is, what can I do? So it's not that people want to be lazy. It's not that people want to be jobless sometimes. I'm not saying those people don't exist, but a lot of human beings, we are good people. We want to do something, but we don't know what to do. So once you know God, and you know that He loves you, He has a purpose already for you. Even though it's hidden from you, you can't see, because none of us can see tomorrow. That's why some people visit prophets to tell them what tomorrow will be. But can I say to people like that, trust God. The Bible says the just shall live by faith. So you engage your faith and go to this God that, tell me, what shall I do? So that question that you keep saying to yourself, what can I do, what can I do, asking people, turn it to heaven. Lift up your face to heaven and say, what can I do? Like I did. I asked the question, what can I do? I had three things, because limited in my own understanding, those were the things I knew. And God gave me something completely different, according to that lady, from what I was expecting. So your expectation, the Bible says the expectation of the righteous will not be cut off. Your expectation will not be cut off, but you need to hang it on God. I was saying this to my daughter recently. The junior doctor years are coming up just this month, July, and she was expecting God to put her at home with us, to post her to London hospitals, and they put her in East England. And she started to cry. I said, why? She said, because they pay her just 2,000 and the rent will be 1,500 and this and that and that. And I said, God ordered the steps of the righteous, like you correctly said earlier on. Trust God. Trust Him. So whatever He sends you to do, whatever He asks you to do, like Mary said to those people at the marriage, whatever Jesus says to you, just do it. And we have JD Sports saying that every time, selling on that little Mary's conversation, just do it. So trust God, ask Him, whatever He tells you to do, just do it.
Wow, thank you so much. Lots of wisdom here, I really covet your courage, your confidence. You built something amazing here. I'm so excited. I'm thankful to be connected to you by blood. I'm proud of what you're doing, and here we are today sharing this knowledge. So if you have any questions for her, like I said, I'm your go-to. But you can go to our website. But if you have any questions around the business or starting, she has her books out there that you could lay your hands on and read. But if you have other questions that you have in your mind, feel free to drop them in the comment. Feel free to contact our business or on our channel and put a question out there. It's a blessing to be here in London recording this with her.
It's a blessing to have you too. I've said to myself in prayer, how can I be a blessing to my niece coming? How can I be a mother to her? How can I be a sister to her? How can I be all the gap that's been in her life? How can I fill it? How can I, make a difference? I was praying to God, just asking, and she's come bearing gifts, little lipstick. He said, Auntie, I know you love red earrings, you love red, your bright lipstick. I said, oh. So I give God thanks for your life. You're doing great things. And when I look back and I see someone like you as well, it encourages me that I'm no longer alone. It brings so much joy. Our family is beginning to rise, and I pray for other people as well within the family, that God will lift all of us up to fulfill purpose and to be a blessing into the world, because that's the greatest joy, when you are not just being a blessing and enjoying God's blessing alone. You come to a place where you can at least spill out information like you are doing now, being a blessing to somebody out there. That is the greatest joy that I have. And God said to me years ago, before I started anything you do must be in the name of charity. So when I have things like the free information, I might not be a millionaire yet, but just even giving a little information that can help somebody else. The information of today, someone might run with it and become a millionaire with it. You never know. Someone might start a church from it. Something might just ignite, iron sharpens iron. Someone might just have something, hear that, and then they go and begin to just excel and succeed. And the people who know God, what did the Bible say? They will do great exploits. So it's my desire for everyone listening, by the fact that you come to my niece channel today, I pray that your life will never be the same again, because the information, full packed faith, and most of the things she's doing would bless you.
Thank you so much, Mike. I'm thankful to have you here, and God bless you too.
Thank you.
Thank you, and I'm proud of you. I'm proud of what you're doing.
I love you.
So thank you for joining us. I'm so thankful for my aunt here. She has shared a lot of knowledge. And thank you for listening. If this message is a blessing, feel free to subscribe, feel free to drop a comment. And if you have any questions around how to start business, how to build your faith, or the courage to even step out to do that daunting vision, feel free to drop your questions in the comments. I'm rooting for you, I'm praying for you, and you will do God proud.
Amen.
Bye everyone.
Bye everyone.